participate in the days leading up to the Iowa caucuses. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us. I want to start with the universal basic income, because one of the premises of your campaign is that automation, robots, and so forth are decimating the American worker, and so we need a basic income. Yet, if you thought that were playing out, you'd expect to see it in the data with really strong growth, really strong productivity.
Hey, QP,
sluggish.
I only can be here.
Exact opposite.
I can only be here for a really short time. My parents are coming in, and they're gonna be here around 1. So, SB 50 did not pass. Yeah, I'm pretty mad about it. I needed a day just to fume a bit, you know. So, oh god, right? But I mean, okay, I'm mad, but it was kind of expected in a way, you know. And I don't know, you know, maybe me not getting a job at Abundant Housing might be a good thing, because like, oh man, see, I was like, I had all these ideas of how we could actually win, but I don't think they were interested. You know, I'm a little bit too centrist for a lot of the YIMBYs, because, you know, a lot of the YIMBYs, like, they're like, you know, they're like Warren people. They like Warren. There's some Bernie people, not too many, thank God. But yeah. So anyway, no. There's nothing you could have done. You know, you could have called your representative, but and that might have made a small difference. But like, honestly, they kind of made up their mind already, and the current crop of politicians in California right now, they are mostly NIMBYs. You know, they're anti-housing, most of them. So it's super disappointing, but you know, what can you do? So I mean, it just goes back to what we have to do now, right? Is to vote them out, because they're not gonna change their mind. They're too slow. They're too slow to adapt. You know. Some of them are like pro-housing in secret, but if they're not willing to stand up to the NIMBYs, then it's no point, you know? They're like too, they've been too entrenched. Hey, Hank. How's it going? He was planning to call today. Yeah, no, it was, it's okay. It's okay, man. It's, what's done is done. I don't know if one call really would have made a difference. You did a round table yourself, huh? Okay, yeah. I got invited to one yesterday, but my parents are in today, so I'm gonna have to actually leave very shortly. I'm just here trying to make a few videos, just to queue up a few things. I don't have time to do the library thing, I'm sorry. Oh man, this week is so crazy. Mine went okay. I can post a link if you're interested. I was like, the far left, you know, it's a leftist round table. And I was a little paranoid, you know, because of all the crazy stuff going on. But it went okay. It wasn't too bad. So you'll see me on these panels more often now. Yeah, where's your round table, Hank? Oh yeah, there's so much drama. There's so much drama even inside the Yang Gang, and I don't want to get into it, but there's drama everywhere. You know, it's not just us. It's probably happening in other campaigns too. Oh man, so much drama everywhere about everyone. Chat about religion. And the name of it has a place. Oh, sounds interesting. I'm not religious, but there are certain things about the religious community that I like, you know? One, because they go every fucking week. They are pretty organized, you know, they are a well organized group. So you get a bunch of people who meet every week, you know, just like naturally you're gonna have some power, you know, you're gonna have some political power if you just meet. A lot of the problem with the internet is that the internet isn't really used for politics, like in a serious way. A lot of times, it's like a lot of you got to do a lot of weird things, like Trump and Yang did, in order to make it a powerful political tool. But that's a whole different thing. How do you prevent something good? Bernie YouTubers are telling, yeah, they're desperate, man. Now they're just outright lying. Well, they've been doing that for a while, but no, you know what's going to happen? People are going to see through it. You got to have faith that people can see through it. They're going to be like, what the hell? And they're going to lose. I really do think that Bernie's going to lose. He's going to lose big time. And it's going to be very embarrassing. You know, you see the fact that we're seeing news all over the internet, all over the media about Bernie is not a good thing. You know, a lot of people think it's a good thing. No, they're compensating for their lack of ground game, I think, you know. Yeah, they're consuming itself. Yeah, I agree with you, Kank. And in the meantime, all the impeachment shit is going on at the same time, right? It's just like a huge mess. It's a clusterfuck, you know? This is why Democrats have trouble winning elections, because this happens all the time. You know, it's just a mess, and everybody's infighting, and they just can't keep their egos under control. So then, you know, none of this is good for the general election. You know. So anyway, Andrew Yang's talking about cryptocurrencies here, so I'm kind of interested.
Unemployment at 3.5%, terrible productivity numbers, weak GDP growth. Why isn't the sort of theory of your case what you see happening on the ground showing up in what anything economists look at?
Hey,
well,
it's
Joe,
frozen.
If you dig a little deeper,
haven't
you
seen
see
him
that
in a while.
headline unemployment is masking the fact that millions of Americans have left the workforce. Labor force participation is down to 63%, a multi-decade low.
Hey, if you want to get mad, okay, hold on. If you want to get mad about the AIDS Healthcare Foundation again, look at this. They're like, they literally, the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, they literally sue other people for selling their lands to a developer. And here they are doing the very thing that, you know, Jesus Christ. They're so bad. They're so bad. Like it's like, and the fact that Bernie is working with this organization, it's just like, come on. I don't understand the YIMBYs who support Bernie, because it's kind of like, dude, you know, this is the biggest NIMBY organization in the United States right now, and then you are just like, you know, you think, I don't know, I think they have this idea that they can be reconciled, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Hey, angels. Yep. So, anyway, it's depressing. Yeah, Hank, if you didn't know, SB 50, which was like the big housing bill that was supposed to come in California, it failed. It failed yesterday. So I'm a little miffed about that.
Pushed out of the workforce, they don't see a path forward, and our headline unemployment number masks that. It also masks the fact that many Americans, because they're struggling to find the right opportunities, are working in very low productivity, low wage, low advancement positions.
Yeah,
and that's why
I
you're seeing the productivity
heard you say that before, Andrew Yang.
So to me, the numbers actually tell the right story if you look a little deeper.
Yeah.
One of
the thing is, with Bernie, you'll get a T-shirt. You know, you'll be like, "Hey, I supported the revolution." You get a T-shirt out of it. That's it. You know, you feel good about it for like 5 minutes, and then you realize everything is shit. You know, because they're not going to do anything. The far left people, as far as I know, they do not do anything. They talk a lot of shit. They don't do anything in the, you know, they don't actually do anything in terms of moving the needle on policy or anything. Yeah, I mean, he certainly did in 2016, but 2020, no, not at all. Bernie's campaign has regressed immensely since 2016. So the far left is organized. It depends on what you mean by organized. You know, if you mean like, you know, hiring your unqualified friends and watching everything turn into a clusterfuck, then yeah, they're organized. You know, but
The things that we've seen President Trump, he's been very critical of his own Fed chair. There was criticism of Obama for not taking the Federal Reserve seriously enough. If you were president, would you reappoint Jerome Powell?
they are very
or
skilled
would you
infiltrators.
look for a
Yeah,
Federal Reserve,
skilled.
chairman who would dovetail
Skilled.
more with what you're doing in terms of getting buying power?
But they do
into the
infiltrate,
hands
that is
of
true.
the middle and lower classes.
Well, to me, job one is to get more money directly in the hands of the American people in the form of the universal basic income.
Which is
And
why
so
they
the
lose
Fed
way more.
primarily
Well,
interest rates, which is one piece of the puzzle, but
We could
I'm
have
obviously
a-
focused more.
we could have a
on
discussion
direct
about that
cash in
because,
people's hands. And that to me is the most powerful thing we can do.
Where
Would you
is
worry that
closed
if there
caption?
were
No?
an
Okay.
increase in buying power,
Oh, so
the
you converted
Federal
3
Reserve
people.
in its
Good.
Framework would be quicker to hike rates and sort of undermine the GDP growth or the growth that you would like to see as a result of the UBI.
Well, to me, the Fed historically.
I don't know, what is,
economic goals?
What do you consider a victory in a meme war? I don't know what that means. You know?
And I don't think those goals are inconsistent with.
I'm not here to debate you, man. I don't
would
want to
trust
argue with people.
an independent
I don't want to
Fed
argue with
rate
people
lower
ever.
interest rates.
People love
Yet-
the idea.
yet they
and
come
polls
in,
show it, of getting
They're like, hey, how come you support Andrew
there's a
Yang?
certain, undeniable
You know, why?
appealing.
And then I
aspect
tell
of
them,
that.
and they're like,
However,
why?
I'm
That's not good
sure
enough. You
if
know, like,
people totally understand.
Well-
there would be a trade-off. So some people would have to give up existing.
okay, see you later
tax
then, you know.
benefits. What would people have to give up? in
I'm getting
order to
better at
benefit
ending
for the farmers,
conversations.
which is
It's hard
just
sometimes, you know?
opt-in?
But I'm
And
just like,
why
okay,
make
let's
that an
stop
opt-in
talking.
choice? Why not just allow people to
Let's
keep
just-
what they have in terms of
just
cash
stop
benefits
talking.
for things like food stamps? And then
Amber
get an
never
extra
came
$1,000
back.
a month on top.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that was a one-off thing. And the fact that she doesn't live here is an issue. You know, I don't, I've been streaming
In
later.
those cases, virtually none of them are getting $1,000 a month right now. So this is a huge win. And when I talk to people,
Yeah,
who
next
are
month is
recipients
gonna
of these
be-
programs, they look
next
at
month is
jobs
gonna be
that fear of
canvassing month
losing
for
their
me.
benefits, of
Gotta
getting
win
incentives
Super
to
Tuesday,
work.
man. To Super
So if they were getting a
Tuesday.
stress-free $1,000 a month, it would be a massive upgrade, and it also has no negative incentive for them to make more money because right now our assistance programs are predicated on you being below a certain income level.
Let's talk about some non-UBI topics. Every debate
No.
that I've
No, I'm
seen,
kidding.
every
Kidding,
debate
kidding.
that
Here it
I've
is.
seen seems to start off with some 30-minute discussion about healthcare, and I think a lot of people tune out or their eyes glaze over.
Yeah, I
But there
did.
does
I
seem
was
to be some
glazing.
ambiguity about exactly where you stand. Would people be able to keep private insurance under an Andrew Yang?
Oh, no, not
healthcare
this
system,
topic again.
Or would it be a single
I'm gonna
payer,
glaze
single
over.
sort of system, more like what Bernie Sanders has proposed?
We need to have universal health care in this country that's not linked to your job, because right now linking it to your job is not a great system on many, many levels. But I
not
would
a
not
great
legislate away private
system.
insurance.
Not a
Millions of
great
Americans
system.
enjoy their private insurance plans. They've made choices based on those plans. To me, the onus has to be on the government to demonstrate that we can do a more effective job than private
Yeah, no,
insurance
$1,000
companies
a
to
month.
help
But
Americans
it's like,
make that choice
yeah,
for
that's
themselves
too
over
good
time.
to be true.
Your
You know,
campaign has
get a lot of that.
advocated legalization of marijuana, and you actually.
But if you're
sell
just like
merch
straight
with
up and like,
cannabis
yeah,
and
you want
use on
$1,000
it.
a month,
We're
they're
sort of
like,
at this weird
yeah.
juncture where
Yeah,
there's
that'll make a
lot of
huge difference, like,
momentum
what the hell?
towards liberalization of marijuana use. At the same time, there is an incredible crackdown.
Be
on
worried
things like
about who
nicotine,
pays for that.
vaping,
Yeah,
cigarette use.
yeah, you're right.
Vaping,
But-
tobacco use. I'm curious if you think that makes sense. And
Yeah, but you know, That's for later after we win the Democratic primary. You know, I'll deal with you right ringers later on. You know, like.
Under your
Oh my
administration,
god.
would you continue to
Oh my
tighten
god. You know, there's so much bullshit everywhere. Like, there's so much bullshit on the left, and I'm just like focused on the bullshit on the left right now. You know, and then trying to. Then we'll get into the bullshit on the right and the center. You know but that's for later.
regulation?
It's a weird thing, you know. I consider myself to be a centrist, you know, but like, there's a difference between centrist, like as a whole, versus a centrist, like a centrist Democrat. You know, that centrist Democrat means something very, very specific. You know, kind of Joe Biden-esque, right? Hey, no, stop. I don't know who you are. Stop it. No, stop. Okay, good. Okay, good. So, anyway, I should finish this video
about,
up.
say, flavored vaping products at the same time as liberalizing people's access to marijuana.
Well, the flavored vaping products seem to be
Yeah, why is
marketed
such
towards young
a
people and kids in particular.
why is such a downer,
and there have
huh?
been a number of deaths as a result of these products. So to me, legalizing marijuana and our treatment of those products are actually two very different questions. Marijuana has been very, very effective as a means of pain relief for many, many Americans. And it's
Wow,
less
Stoner
dangerous,
Yang.
frankly, than the prescription opiates that have been killing Americans in record numbers.
Apparently, Yang
So
doesn't
that's why
really
I'm for
smoke anymore. I'm
legalizing
sure
marijuana,
maybe it's because he has
but
kids.
to me, we have to figure out
Makes sense.
how to not have these.
I'm pretty
vaping
sure he
products connect with
tried.
kids, and how to ensure
I'm
that they're not
sure.
literally,
I'm sure he
causing deaths
tried.
among young people.
I
But
miss
should
you. Well, it's only a
adults be
couple
able to
days. It's only the
enjoy
weekend. I'm not
flavored
leaving.
vaping
You
products,
know,
their
I'll be
Juul
back.
pods and so forth?
Well,
So-
if we can balance the public health concerns and individual agency, you know, I'm not for an outright ban.
So your campaign has obviously attracted.
You're not for an outright ban. Why so nuanced? You know, why not take a hard line stance for the crowd? You know, why being such a okay. All right, so the crypto question is coming up soon, so I might have. Let me see.
A sort of wide, unusual support from people who previously were disengaged, or maybe they were Trump supporters, or maybe they have other niche interests.
You know the weird thing? You know the weird thing about this whole thing? It's Bloomberg. See? Bloomberg's shadow hovers everywhere in this campaign. You know, you can't escape the influence of Bloomberg because he just has so much shitload of money that he's everywhere. Yeah, I gotta say, man, Bloomberg is not bad on housing, you know. So I would prefer Bloomberg over Bernie at this point, honestly. You know, I'll be more comfortable with that. Hey, I can't believe it because I'm like siding with a fucking billionaire, but
There's a lot of people who are like really big cryptocurrency fans, for example.
yeah,
They love Andrew Yang, and when I talk to them, they're like, "Yeah, ask him about
cryptocurrency. Like the fact that Bloomberg media even knows about it, or willing to talk about it, is kind of a big deal.
What would
you know?
you do with regards to regulation of that and, say, Bitcoin exchanges? Do you support the right of people to use their bank accounts, credit cards, etc., to move into cryptocurrencies and other forms of money that aren't as easily tracked by centralized?
You can already do that.
Well, what I would say is that we need to have a uniform set of rules and regulations around cryptocurrency use nationwide, because right now we're stuck with this hodgepodge of state-by-state treatments, and it's bad for everybody. It's bad for innovators who want to invest in this space. So
Hey,
that would be
speaking of
my priority,
crypto,
is just clear and transparent rules so that everyone
Paladin
knows
is here.
where they can head in the future, and that we can maintain competitiveness. Because to me, the underlying technology of cryptocurrencies is very, very high potential.
I
and we should be
know,
investing in it.
I know,
Would you
high
support,
potential.
Sort of monetary freedom for people that want to move their money away from fiat currencies, get their money out of the banking system.
Wow, what a
into
nerd. He's a
cryptocurrencies.
nerd too.
Right now,
God
you have
damn.
banks restricting payments to these platforms and so forth. People feel like government regulations are essentially impeding in their desire to do that?
Well, right now, people who are investing in these currencies are
Crypto
finding a
is
way
fun.
to,
I agree.
you know, to do so and make use of their investments. No, I don't think that you could impede it with regulation if you tried.
Oh, he's totally right. You know, that's gonna happen anyway. Why not regulate it and be less dumb about it? Like, you know, like with drugs. Oh man, see? Wait, does he talk about weed?
Very, very effective as a means of pain relief.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
So to me,
oh, that's
legalizing
perfect.
marijuana.
Weed, crypto, regulate, make some money. Let's stop being dumb. There we go. That's the video. Yeah. Okay, hold on.
Well, the flavored vaping products seem to be marketed towards young people and kids in particular. And there have
Okay,
been a number
then
of
move
deaths
on.
as
Okay,
a result of these
I
products.
heard this.
So to me, legalizing marijuana
Okay.
and our treatment.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Imagine a media stunt where each Democratic Trump, or yeah, that'd be. I would love that. I would like. Yeah, that'd be good. Debate Trump. Everybody running for office should at least debate the incumbent at least once. You know, get a flavor. Give the American people a flavor. How they're gonna, you know. Why is it so like, hey, you gotta win? Okay, this is only a minute, so let me...
You have been quite animated on
Yes,
Twitter with your clapbacks towards Bernie bros, or as you call them also Bernie brunettes.
Broettes.
Broettes, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, it's her.
Yeah, because Hillary is totally right. Let me start by saying, even if she didn't want to campaign for him, so what? She doesn't have to.
Oh, I know her real name now. Reese Colbert. Colbert? Is she related to Steve Colbert? Okay, well, probably not.
The problem is we're not making people work for our votes anymore. It's just vote blue no matter who. No, you're an asshole. I don't want to vote for you. And Bernie is the worst, and so are his supporters. And I'm glad that she name-checked Kamala Harris because these folks have gone after Kamala Harris for years. And so good on Hillary Clinton for standing up to Bernie Sanders. It's about damn time that somebody did it. Everybody's acting like they're scared of him because his
She's
bros
funny.
are
I like her.
monsters. He said it, and I don't care. And
She's
you know
good.
what? They're not going to be able to bully their way to this primary, to the nomination, or to strong-arm people into voting for him. And if they don't think that there's going to be a huge never Bernie problem, they're in for a rude-ass awakening.
Oh, yeah,
period.
that's coming, man.
Well,
That's coming. The rude awakening is coming. And, you know, they're compensating it by paying the media lots of money to say nice things about him, but that's all going to fall apart. I'm very sure Iowa will be the test, but Bernie is on his... Some polls aren't even showing him? What? Really? I don't know about that, but... I don't know, if you know of a poll where Bernie has magically disappeared, let me know. That'd be interesting to look at. Alright, I gotta... What am I doing talking to you guys? I gotta make a video. No, I have enough to get through the weekend, because my parents are coming in today. So I won't have time to stream this weekend, but I want to have an overstock of videos, so I gotta make at least one. CNN poll that listens. Oh man, they must be so pissed. They must be so pissed. Is that the first time? Bernie media blackout? I don't know. Like, if you look at most of the polls, you know, yeah, they'll be like, oh, it's against me, you know, but for the most part, the media has been pretty nice to him until now, you know. They're waiting until he became the front runner, and then now it's just everyone's dogpiling on him, and we're learning a lot of things about him that, you know, they weren't prepared for. I was like, dude, you know, Bernie hanging out with this guy is a bad fucking look, you know? This guy's the worst. Michael Weinstein's the worst. But then I told them that, and you know, I told the Bernie people that, like, this was like last summer, you know? This was last summer. I was just like, hey, this is a problem for your campaign, you know? But they didn't do nothing. So they're gonna eat it. They're gonna eat it. She doesn't hate Yang. Yeah, there's no reason to hate Yang. You know, you can hate some of his supporters. You know, so some of us are a little bit, you know. But even the Yang gang, even the Yang gang who has issues, you know, we have like veterans with PTSD in the Yang gang, you know, and they have episodes, you know, like for real, you know, sometimes they go crazy, like, and that's been a problem in the campaign. But you know, like someone on the sidelines seeing that, I think you gotta have, you know, I think they can see that okay, there wasn't any ill intention, you know, a lot of times. I'm not talking about everyone, you know, but like, yeah, people like Ryan and the Yang Gang giving the Yang Gang a bad name, I know, but you know, see, I am the exception. Most of the Yang Gang is very, very nice, you know, and then they're being really nice to the people, even to the people on the far left who I just have trouble getting along with. But anyway, what am I talking about? Oh, yeah. So anyway, yeah, they're in for a rude awakening. QP is a fan of the black women views, though. Yeah, she's pretty good. She doesn't mince her words. Yeah, but I really don't like Kamala. Okay, to be honest, like I don't really like her, but I'm not gonna go way out of my way to attack her, you know. And I think that's the thing. That's the thing, like the Bernie people do. You know, they go way out of their way. It's like, man, you know, they come into my channel and ask stupid questions, and you know, like there's no such thing as a stupid question, but there is such thing as a dishonest question. You know, you're not asking me because you want to know what the answer is. Okay. Anyway, okay, I gotta shit. It's almost noon. Okay. So I need to talk about the blockchain. Civic Coin. How's this doing? I like this project. Meh. Yeah. It went up. It went up a little bit. So it was at 2 cents, and then now it's at where it was at 4 cents, and it kind of went back down again. Okay, fine. So this is a pretty good identity blockchain. Do I need anything more than this? Okay, whatever. This is good enough. How much library? Hey, why don't you spend the one? No, it takes more than 1 minute. You think it's so easy? I already have my profile. It takes time to put in pictures and write in the description, and hey, it's work. And looking at it, it looks like I can make maybe 20 cents. so I'm not in a rush either. Okay, I mean, all right, let me do this. Okay, let me do this. Hello everyone, this is Ryan from the YIMBY Arts project. So I've been making some videos about technology. You know, I'm taking a little bit of a different approach to the videos. Like, I feel like people like Paget and the PSP guys and Kai, etc., you know, they have the campaign stuff pretty much covered. So I want to like talk more on this channel more about like dig a little bit deeper in some of the you know, policy and what's the word, political ideas, you know, in relation to other topics. So one thing is like technology. The other thing I talk about is like in the arts, right? YIMBY, it's the YIMBY Arts channel, so we talk about the arts as well, like how Yang's support for the arts policies can actually help out the thing. So today, you know, I've made a few videos of this already, but I want to talk about the cryptocurrency thing. So I'm going to start off with a kind of in the middle of an interview he did with Bloomberg recently. Yeah, Michael Bloomberg, his shadow is everywhere. See all the Bloomberg, little Bloomberg. You know, he has money everywhere, and so this is sort of like a metaphor for like, you know, don't underestimate this guy. And then Michael Bloomberg is actually, at least in Bloomberg media, they're actually not too bad on their positions on housing. So, you know, I actually met a Bloomberg fan. Yeah, I didn't know they existed. But there's a guy who's like really like, he's like trying to decide between Bloomberg and Joe Biden. I'm like, whoa, really? Wow. And but his point of view was that, you know, he's a lefty, but he likes candidates who talk about getting things done, and you know, Bloomberg fits the description. Whether you agree with that or not is one thing, but I'm just saying. Okay, so let's start. He's gonna start. He's gonna talk about weed for a little bit. Okay.
So to me, legalizing marijuana and our treatment of those products are actually two very different questions. Marijuana has been very, very effective as a means of pain relief for many, many Americans. And it's less dangerous, frankly, than the prescription opiates that have been killing Americans in record numbers for years now. So that's why I'm for legalizing marijuana. But to me, we have to figure out how to not have these vaping products marketed to kids, and how to ensure that they're not literally causing deaths among young people.
But should adults be able to enjoy flavored vaping products, their jewel pods and so forth?
Well, if we can balance the public health concerns and individual agency, you know, I'm not for an outright ban.
So your campaign has obviously attracted very sort of wide, unusual support from people who previously were disengaged, or maybe they were Trump supporters, or more maybe they have other niche interests. There's a lot of people who are like really big cryptocurrency fans, for example, who have they love Andrew Yang, and when I talk to them, they're like, yeah, ask him about crypto. What would you do with regards to regulation of that and, say, Bitcoin exchanges? Do you support the right of people to use their bank accounts, credit cards, et cetera, to move into cryptocurrencies and other forms of money that aren't as easily tracked by centralized authorities?
Well, what I would say is that we need to have a uniform set of rules and regulations around cryptocurrency use nationwide, because right now we're stuck with this hodgepodge of state-by-state treatments, and it's bad for everybody. It's bad for innovators who want to invest in this space. So that would be my priority, is just clear and transparent rules so that everyone knows where they can head in the future, and that we can maintain competitiveness. Because to me, the underlying technology of cryptocurrencies is very, very high potential, and we should be investing in it.
But do you support sort of monetary freedom for people that want to move their money away from fiat currencies, get their money out of the banking system into cryptocurrencies? Because right now you have banks restricting payments to these platforms and so forth, and people feel like government regulations are essentially impeding in their desire to do that.
Well, right now, people who are investing in these currencies are finding a way to, to do so and make use of their investments. No, I don't think that you could impede it with regulation if you tried.
Okay, so that's basically his answer on cryptocurrency. I'm going to keep it focused to that. So if you haven't been keeping up with crypto in the last couple years, you know, I made some money just for transparency, I made some money in 2017, which is basically keeping this project afloat right now, and so you could say that the YIMBY Arts channel is crypto powered. It's even all over my all over the website. I'm using the Brave browser, as you can see. This is a crypto powered thing, and I'm a verified creator on the platform. And then you can also donate through that if you want, or you can download a link. Downloading the browser, there's lots of different ways to do this, but kind of the big thing, and I think this is like the best answer he could have gave as a pseudo government person, assuming that Andrew Yang wins the election and he becomes president, and he's been talking about this for a while, but he's going to recreate the Office of Technology that for some reason the American government thought it would be a good idea to get rid of, some 25 years ago. He talks about this all the time. So the reality is that a lot of technology infrastructure within the government is very, very outdated at this point. And there's kind of a reactionary response to a lot of the crypto technologies that is going on, This is why a lot of crypto people tend to distrust government, because when the technology first came out, first of all, it was smeared by the media as being pro-terrorism. They said, hey, like, they attacked it on so many different ways, like, one, it's bad for the environment because crypto mining requires power. Okay, so I mean there's some I don't know, there's some argument to be made about that, but in relation to what? Like in relation to like driving a car, driving an armored truck, hauling a bunch of gold around, that's energy intensive too, and so there's kind of a double standard that got applied to cryptocurrencies in relation to like the environment, the costs, like, does it really work? And the answer is yes, it does, but it's a little hard to create crypto projects when you get basically no support from any of the companies or the government. So that's why the crypto community has been really, really small. It was kind of a niche thing that people did on the side for many, many years, but all of a sudden in 2017 it's kind of reached its like first stages of maturity, and the prices went crazy, and I do think a second wave is coming, but it's going to take some time. And in order to do that, we're going to need regulations that actually make sense. So just from a personal experience, right? I'm originally from Hawaii, right? And do you remember that time, the missile crisis thing where, we sent out a false message that the missiles were coming to Hawaii, and it turns out it was just a technical mistake. It was like, World War III almost started, but, yeah. So the same state that did that, that's just for context, outright banned cryptocurrencies. So I got my dad obsessed with Bitcoin and Ethereum and all those coins during 2017, and then Hawaii just came in, and the state of Hawaii just like banned it. I don't know why. Their argument was it was being used for illegal things. But what's also being used for illegal things, like drug trafficking. I don't know. So there was rumors going around that people use Bitcoin for like assassinations and murder. Hitmen and did you know that people use US dollars for those things too? So again, it's a double standard. And the only reason why there's a resistance to this technology, even though it's been proven to work many, many times, is because of politics, And so, in his short answer there, he really kind of, I don't know, like he really like showed that he understands what is going on. And I do think that even in the yesterday's interview that I did with the startup people, I did an interview with startup people. You can check that out. Talking about AI automation, but we also talked about cryptocurrencies a little bit. And you would find that most startup founders and tech leaders are actually in favor of government regulations. And what is the best thing that the government can do in the technology space? Is actually to bring clarity, right? Because it gets very, very complicated and very, very expensive when the state of Hawaii bans cryptocurrencies, but you're still allowed to buy them in California, and then if you want to transfer over the coins to the other side, it gets very, very, I don't know, there's no way. And he's also right about the fact that it is basically unenforceable, unless we hire millions of people to work for the government for the sake of monitoring this. I don't know why you would even want to do that, but there's no way they can keep up with all the transactions that are just going on every single day. So he is totally right in saying that the best thing the government can do is to bring clarity and make sure that we can standardize our rules, just so everybody knows that we're working, with the same infrastructure. And there ought to be like crypto-friendly government services, I would say, that everyone can use, not just you or me or, not just the government, but everyone, And cryptocurrency is very, very transparent because everything gets recorded on the blockchain. Actually, someone here said that, yeah, crypto is actually very easily tracked, right? It is, because everything's on the blockchain. It's just right there, And so the whole idea is that, you can use this for shady undercurrent stuff. It's not true. It's just actually just not true. But there are certain groups out there who do not want that transparency. And I think that's part of the kind of the crypto community. You sort of learn that the hard way, They're like, there are political interests out there that do not want this technology, because if you're transparent about all the things going on in government, some people are going to get into trouble. Yeah, for real. So the thing is, okay, so this is just for transparency's sake again, I am invested in this project. It's called Civic, and this is a project that basically tries to bring identity to the internet, right? So you notice that on Twitter there are people who have those blue check marks. And how do you get one of those? Well, you submit your photo ID, and then there's some kind of process where they make you identify, you are a real person, and that's what that check mark is. Civic is trying to do a similar thing, but on a broader scale. So one thing is that they've been experimenting with is the idea of age verification, right? So you're going to be able to connect your government mandated ID to your phone, and then you'd be able to use your phone to buy beer or tobacco products or things that have like renting a car, right? Things that have an age restriction. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is that if they know that your identity on your digital device is actually secure. And you can do that with the blockchain, because the blockchain is, again, I don't want to get too technical, but it's transparent. Everybody knows that this is you, and it's on public record. And if you're using a public yeah, if you're using a government mandated ID for public purposes, it's it's fair game to have that information. But it gets a little bit more tricky when you're talking about private uses, right? But anyway, yeah, so this is the things that these are sorts of technologies that are coming down the pipe. People have been working on this for many, many years. It hasn't, as of this year, the hype has kind of died down in the crypto space, and so you're not going to see as much media stuff. But people are working on these things, and they hold a lot of potential. Like this combined with like data as a property right could actually transform the internet in a way to make it much more viable for more serious things, because it's really hard. Like most of the internet right now is anonymous, and it's really hard to do certain things when you don't even know who you're talking to, right? That's actually a big problem on the internet, especially regarding politics. Like, are you talking? Who are you? If you're like on Twitter and then you're like talking to some person, are they real? Are they really part of the other campaign? Is this a Russian bot? Or is it just someone really, really cranky? I don't know, right? so I think there's a space for us to have, and this is opt-in. You don't have to identify yourself if you don't want to, but sort of spaces where we know exactly who we're talking to, so that we can do more work. At least that's kind of my why I'm kind of excited about cryptocurrency. But people support these technologies for different reasons. So if you're into this stuff, I'd be interested in hearing others as well. All right, so I thought that was just like kind of a cool video, kind of check out, and I'm glad that he's still talking about this because sometimes I get a little bit worried, like Yang's getting really busy with the campaign, and I'm worried that he may have forgotten about the things he's talked about in the past, but it's still there, and I'm sure that he's going to talk about housing at some point. I don't know when, but at some point. All right, so that's about it. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Okay, take care. All right, what's going on? I gotta head out soon, probably 12:30. Why does it take power? Well, look up crypto mining. I'll show you the most extreme example. China, Bitcoin mine, waterfall, hydro. I know, look at this. Oh, this is a new one. This is the kind of crazy stuff they're doing in Europe and Asia. They're like, hey, so it costs processing power to process the transactions that happen on cryptocurrency platforms. So it's a little bit complicated, but in order to make it secure, we need that. We need to invest in the processing power. So some people thought they was environmentally unsustainable or something, but it's all relative, man. It's all relative to. What is this? What am I listening to? Soundtrack for study. Oh. What about this one? This one's different? Or is this mine? No, it's mine. Okay, whatever. I don't have time. So let's cut the video. I think that's all I'll be able to do today. Yeah, but crypto has a... You could use crypto for voting. I'm gonna start off with a kind of one thing. I'll dig a little bit deeper in. I've been making. Hey, why don't you? It looks like I can make maybe 20 cents. so, hello everyone. Hello everyone. This is Ryan and Ethereum and all those coins. Saying that the best thing the government can do is to bring clarity and make sure that we can standardize our rules, just so everybody knows that we're working, you know, with the same infrastructure, tobacco products or digital devices, you know. So, you know, be part of the other campaign, viable for more. Talking, who are you? You know, if you're talking to, right? That's actually a big problem on the internet. Especially, are they real? Someone read? Support these at some point. Alright, so that's about it. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Okay, take care. Okay. Regulation, potential, the potential and regulatory approach. There you go, something like that. It's a little long, but oh, Joelle's in Iowa. Oh yeah, she's in Iowa. I forgot. I forgot she was going. Oh yeah. Alright, hurry up. I gotta head out soon. What? Oh man, ugh. It's all about the money, ain't it? I know. I mean, I don't know. You make a career rapping about how money is good, and are you really surprised when you know when you interact with these people? They care about the money more than you. What? Wow, this is fucked up, man. Oh man, what money can get you? Wow. Watch the DNC roll over. Wow. What a joke. Oh my god. Oh my god. They think they're gonna win next year? You think they're gonna win the general when they do shit like this? It's embarrassing, man. Ah. Oops. Well, this one's a little dystopian, but I kind of like it. It's like instrumental music. Hold on, while the video processing. Oop. Who is this guy? I can't read it, so... Oh well. Good, well, I don't have to think about it. Good. Okay, thank you everyone, I gotta head out. So I'll probably be back streaming on Tuesday-ish, but, you know, I'll be still posting videos and such, so... Okay, see you guys later.